Carla versus Rose. Guys, we got to redo the match. We have to redo the match. Somebody's going to have to say that at some point. There is a number. We got to redo the match. Period. Rose did an interview yesterday with Ariel Helwani. Now, I don't think that Ariel lined that up after she lost. I don't know this. I don't know this to be true. I think prior to the contest, Ariel was lining his show up, reached out to Rose, assumed that Rose would win. I think that she assumed she'd be in a good mood and want to come talk to everybody, and she agreed to the interview. The reason that's relevant, at least to me, if that order of events is true, and Rose, who had her heart broken and is down on her dumps, honored her agreement anyway, showed up and showed her face, there has only been 2 athletes from this weekend's card. And it didn't matter if you got your heart broken or you had a glorious moment. There's 2 athletes that had the sense that God gave geese to come out and speak since the fight. Michael Chandler gets credit, and Rose, and nobody else. And for me, that's frustrating. And it's only frustrating because it shows a lack of understanding of the industry that you're in. Our media cycle and the way that it works, you're not going to have anything hotter than fight week. It's just like a test, though, right? You are absolutely cramming. You are cramming if you were the promotion to get the information and get the message out and do it right now and do it when it's fresh. And by the way, you only got to wait 48 hours and here it's going to be. Okay. Then you have the fight. Now, in most people's mind, and that is managers, that is trainers, and it is most definitely the athletes, you are now done. You are now done until your next time. But that's not how our media cycle works. You now have exactly 48 hours. Exactly. Sunday's going to be a travel day that nobody does anything. That includes who gets you content faster than me. Sunday's a travel day, coming back from the events. Monday is the last day of the media cycle where you will then recount the weekend, and the number one person you have to thank for that is Ariel Helwani. But Tuesday, you're now looking to what next? Whatever happened over the weekend, my God, it could have been the Super Bowl. It could be the biggest sporting event ever. On Tuesday, it's done. Sports go in one direction. What's now and what's next? That's it. But that doesn't start until Tuesday. It's the same thing, rinse and repeat, every single week. And again, it's because of Ariel. It's been that way for over a decade. But I don't see very many fighters that understand that. I don't see very many fighters that sees that. I don't see where they take that opportunity. You're going to get about, you think that you're hot, you think that people give a goddamn? We do. You're right. We don't now. Not today. Today it's Blachowicz versus Raychik. That's it. So I only offer you that because I do appreciate that Rose went out there and she talked about that. But guys, we got to redo that match. And it was nothing that Rose said within that interview, by the way. Rose did this for 2 other people. Rose did this for Joanna, and she walked out there and she did it. And she did not have to do it. When Rose beat Wei Lee, the second time Rose did this, not beat Wei Lee, the second time that Rose was put in the position of surprising the world and having to go out and redo it again, that's a big ask. It was the right ask. I would have asked it. It was right for Rose to do it. I don't begrudge any of this, but that's a big ask. When Rose beat Wei Lee the first time, there was nothing, and I do repeat, nothing about that match that warranted a rematch other than how fast and destructive it was. Like, there are not times that you got to have a knockdown drag out. You got to have before Bruce Buffer jumps in the ring in the shark suit and reads that card. You don't know in the living room. You don't know with your buddies around. Maybe you get a split decision. You've got some level of controversy. These are what gets you rematches. There was nothing about Rose moving around, defending, setting up, executing, and being done that warranted a rematch against Wei Lee other than, we don't think you're this good, Rose. We think you got lucky. She walked out and did it again. Madison Square Garden had to come from behind this time. That second match did warrant a rematch. What happened in Rose's second match, absent of the first, that's the one where you go, hey, we got to redo that match. I'm only sharing with you. We want to reap what we sow. We want to believe that karma's good. We want to believe you do something that it comes back to you. Like, that's not how life works, of course. That's just some ideology to make yourself feel good. But we still want to believe it. And in Rose's case, to have done for her what she already did for not one, but two people. And if you want to tell me that you don't want to see Rose and Carla, you cannot tell me that you want to see Joanna versus Carla more. Everybody loves Joanna. Yes, we want to see Joanna get an opportunity. Yes, we want to see Joanna versus Carla. That's not what I'm saying. You cannot tell me that you've got a feeling inside of you that is stronger to see Joanna versus Carla for the belt than it is to see Rose versus Carla for the belt. That's not true. You do not mean that. If I brought in another option and said, well, do you want to see Wei Lee versus Carla for the belt? You could not tell, oh my God, yeah, please, that's the one I've got to have that one. So at some point, we do have to defer back to what have we done before? And what has this person done? And to simply hang our hat on that match was weird, that match was dull, that match was inactive. We got to redo the match. They have got to redo that match. Not to mention the odds makers have already ruined Joanna versus Carla. Now, that match is good. I want to see that. I really want to see Joanna back. I love watching Carla. I respect the righting of the wrong that Carla just did with Rose, which opens the idea that maybe she could also do it with Joanna. Like, I have no problem with that fight. That is not my intent. My intent and my genesis is only one thing, which is to make you admit that of the three fights that I just said for Carla, Wei Lee, Joanna, or Rose, there's not one that you want to see more. You're equal and you're even, and you're going to have a discussion, and on you're going to go with your life. The right that we got to give to Rose. We have to. I believe going into that contest, no matter how Rose lost, she was not going to get the rematch. I believe if it was marred in controversy, you weren't going to see it again. If it was a split decision, you weren't going to see it again. If it was a knockout of a submission, if she won all 4 rounds and got caught in the 5th round, you weren't going to see it again. But she had done that favor for other people. She does matter. She does draw. She is outdoing Mita. She is doing everything right. Like, at some point in this industry, your reward for doing things the right way is that you get a payoff in the end. But generally in this industry, if you're the person that's willing to take fights that nobody else is, and they go against you, you're going to be cut. And the guy that was a chicken is still going to be in the business. In this industry, which you are not paid to do media, your reward, if you're willing and good at it, is that you do more media. Like, it's one of those things. If you show up to fan events and you do great and you got a long crowd and you show up with the energy and you're a great ambassador and you do a good time, your reward for that is that you will then be at the next fan event. You're going to get on an airplane, going to fly somewhere where you don't live. You're going to be living at a hotel. You're away from your gym. You're away from your lover. You're at this event. Whatever, it's just one of those things. I don't have a huge problem with any of that. I would like us as human beings to sometimes identify it, and when we can, rectify it. Guys, we got to redo the match. We got to redo the match. You could tell me it was a boring match. I'll tell you it was a close match. We'll both be right. You tell me it was the least activity you've ever seen in a fight. I will tell you it was the hardest decision judges have ever come to. We'll both be right. We got to redo the match. Period. Back me or fess up to the fact that it's a one-way street that you're going to take, and after you get done taking, you're not going to give back. Rose has done it twice. Not once. Rose has done it twice. There's no fight that you want to see more. The pay-per-view numbers came in. Somebody swung that needle. There was one title fight on the whole goddamn card. So before you think you're going to default to the boys in the main event, there was one title fight on the card. They get some level of credit. We got to redo that match.